All right. If you can see my screen, go ahead and pull your Love That Dog book up. You might want to have your Google Classroom open because we are going to be working on questions for pages 61 through 67 that we'll be reading today. And you may or may not want a piece of paper and pencil to do your shape poem that we will be working on later. I know, right? Yes, you have to do it. Austin phone's on. Oh, he's on mine. I can see him. I'm pretty sure I can see him in Go Guardian too. Oh no, you're right. It does say he's offline on mine. Yeah. hmm I don't see him. Mm-mm. I don't see him. Sebastian's not on. A couple of the other students aren't on. Yeah, and then Jersey's not on. Cole's not on. Neither Jaden's on. Brody's not on. Right, right. All right. Yep. Okay. So like I said, um, please have your Love That Dog book out. If you can show it to me on the screen so I know that you have it and you are following along with me, I'd greatly appreciate that before I start reading it. Okay. That's fine, Katie. Don't worry about it. All right, I will go ahead and start. So we left off with our 2-line poem from April 20th where he says, "Did you mail it? Did he answer yet?" And we're starting on April 24th, page 61. Months? It might take months for Mr. Walter Dean Myers to answer my letter if he answers it? I didn't know until you explained that the letter has to go to Mr. Walter Dean Myers' publisher company. And then someone at the publisher company has to sort all the mail, not just my letter, but hundreds and hundreds of letters to hundreds of authors. All that big mess of mail piled up, and someone sorting all that mail. And then the letters for Mr. Walter Dean Myers go to him. And maybe he's away. Maybe he's on vacation. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's hiding in a room writing poems. Maybe he's babysitting his children or his grandchildren, if he's married and stuff. Or maybe he has to go to the dentist or get that car fixed. Or maybe someone died. I really, really, really hope someone did not die. So, if you ask me, it could take him years to get around to answering that letter. So I guess we'd better just forget about it. Not count on it. Get it out of our minds. Do something else. Forget it. April 26th. Sometimes when you are trying not to think about something, it keeps popping back into your head. You can't help it. You think about it and think about it and think about it until your brain feels like a squashed pea. So, what is it called when we compare two things using like or as? You can put it in the chat. What's that figurative language called? Similes. Yes, thank you. Good job, Hunter. Good job, Austin. Good job, Katie. May 2nd. Yes, you can type up the thing about trying not to think about something, but you'd better leave my name off it because it was just words coming out of my head and I wasn't paying too much attention to which words came out when. May 7th. Maybe you could show me how to use the computer and then I could type up my own words. I didn't know about the spell checking thing inside the computer. It is like a miracle, little brain in there, a little helper brain. So, what's he comparing in that stanza? What's he comparing the computer to? He's using a simile, so he's comparing the computer to something else. Yeah, a little brain. A little helper brain. But I am a slow typer person. Did you say there is a teaching typing thing in that computer too? Will it help me type better and faster? Tap, 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 tap. So my fingers can go as fast as my brain? Now, I think there's a word for that. When an author uses a word that mimics a sound, what's that called? Starts with an O. If you don't want to try and type it, you can shout it out. Turn your mic on and shout it out. Onomatopoeia! Yes! You guys are so smart. There is no tripping you up today. May 14th. I typed this poem myself. My sky. All capitals. We were outside in the street, me and some other kids, kicking the ball before dinner, and Sky was chasing, 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 with his feet going every which way, and his tail wag, wag, wagging, and his mouth slob, slob, slobbering, and he was all over the place, smiling and wagging and slobbering and making us laugh, and my dad came walking up the street. He was way down there, near the end. I could see him. After he got off the bus and he was walking, and I saw him wave, and he called out, "Hey there, son." And so I didn't see the car coming from the other way until someone else, one of the big kids, called out, "Car!" And I turned around and I saw a blue car, splattered with mud, speeding down the road. And I saw Sky going after the ball, wag, wag, wagging his tail, and I called him, "Sky! Sky!" And he turned his head, but it was too late because the blue car, splattered with mud, hit Sky. Thud, thud, thud. And kept on going in such a hurry, so fast, so many miles to go, it couldn't even stop. And Sky was just there in the road, lying on his side with his legs bent funny and his side heaving. And he looked up at me and I said, "Sky, Sky, Sky." And then my dad was there and he lifted Sky out of the road and laid him on the grass. And Sky closed his eyes and he never opened them again, ever. That's a heavy poem, right? That's probably the most serious poem we've read in this book so far. Why do you think Jack might feel comfortable writing about his dog now. Now that we're towards the end of the book, he's gotten used to writing other poems. Exactly. He just wanted to express his feelings, and it might have really helped him to process it and think about it, and what happened, and help him move on and get some closure. Okay, I promise. It gets a little happier from here on, guys. I promise. May 15th. I don't know. If you put it on the board and people read it, it might make them sad. May 17th. Okay, I guess. I'll put my name on it, but I hope it doesn't make people feel too sad. And if it does, maybe you could think of something to cheer everybody up. Like maybe with some of those brownies you make, the chocolate ones that are so good. May 21st. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That was the best news ever. I can't believe it. Mr. Walter Dean Myers is really, really, really coming to our school. He was coming to our city anyway to see his old buddy. And he would be honored to visit our clean school and meet the mostly nice kids who like his poems. We sure are lucky that his old buddy lives in our town. Wow! May 28th. The bulletin board looks like it's blooming words with everybody's poems up there on all those colored sheets of paper. Yellow, blue, pink, red, green. And the bookcase looks like it's sprouting books. All of them by Mr. Walter Dean Myers, lined up, looking back at us, waiting for Mr. Walter Dean Myers himself to come to our school, right into our classroom. Wow! That's the class bell. It still rings even though you guys aren't here. No, it does not mean you can go. Okay, so on that poem, the poem that we just read from May 28th, what descriptive words does the author use? Does he use colors? What does he say that the bulletin board looks like? Or the bookcase? Yeah, it's like a blooming flower. He says colors. What kind of colors does he mention? Yeah, yellow, blue, pink, greens. What about the books on the bookcase? What did he say about them? Well, he said that the bulletin board was blooming. What about the bookcase? It kind of goes along with that. It was filled. It was sprouting books, right? So what does it mean if something is sprouting books? Yeah, there's a lot of books there. It's growing books. When a flower sprouts, it's growing. Growing books. There's so many books. Can you picture all of this in your head when you read it or when I read it? What the bookshelf looks like and what the bulletin board looks like? Yes, so those are pretty good examples of imagery, right? Creating that mental picture for us. Yes, I like the head nods. I appreciate them. All right, May 29th. I can't wait. I can't sleep. Are you sure you hid my poem that was inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers? I don't want to do anything to upset him. How might Jack be feeling if he can't sleep? What does that usually mean if someone can't sleep? How are they feeling? Nervous, probably so nervous. He's about to meet someone that he looks up to so much. Maybe a little excited too, right? Yeah. Okay, June 1st. Mr. Walter Dean Myers Day. I never in my whole life ever heard anybody who could talk like that. Mr. Walter Dean Myers. All of my blood in my veins was bubbling, and all of the thoughts in my head were buzzing, and I wanted to keep Mr. Walter Dean Myers at our school forever. June 6th. Dear Mr. Walter Dean Myers, thank you 100 million times for leaving your work and your family and your things people have to do to come visit us in our school, in our class. We hope you liked your visit. We think maybe you did because you were smiling all over the place. And when you read your poems, you had the best voice, low and deep and friendly and warm, like it was reaching out and wrapping us all up in a big squeeze. And when you laughed, you had the best laugh I've ever heard in my life. Like it was coming from way deep down and bubbling up and rolling and tumbling out into the air. We hope we didn't ask you too many questions, but we thank you for answering every which one, and especially for saying that you would be flattered if someone used some of your words, and especially if they added a note that they were inspired by Walter Dean Myers. And it was nice of you to read all of our poems on the bulletin board, and I hope it didn't make you too sad when you read the one about my dog Sky getting smushed in the road. And I think you liked the brownies too, right? Thank you for coming to see us, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. Inside this envelope is a poem using some of your words. I wrote it. It was inspired by you, Mr. Walter Dean Myers, from your number one fan, Jack. And this, Love That Dog, inspired by Walter Dean Myers by Jack, is the secret poem in the envelope. Love that dog, like a bird loves to fly. I said, I love that dog, like a bird loves to fly. Love to call him in the morning, love to call him, hey there, Sky. The end. And then the rest of the pages are just the poems that Miss Stretchberry used. What did you guys think of the book? Were you expecting that ending? No, you weren't. What ending were you expecting? How did you think it was gonna end? Like a happy laughing ending? Yeah. I liked it though. I think that ending is fitting. Because, at the beginning of the book, did he want to talk about Sky? No, right? And then in the middle, we kind of see him warming up. He's getting into the poetry more. And then by the end, he finally feels comfortable enough to process. Hmm. Oh no, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad that you pulled her out of the way. Yeah, I'm sure that was really scary. I'd be scared too if that happened to me. Well, at least we know that he is doing okay now that he's been able to write his poems and process everything that's happened. If you guys want to pull up your Love That Dog questions for pages 61 through 67 in your Google Classrooms, let's do that. It is the Google form. And I just realized my Google slide says 61 through 67, but it's actually 61 through 86. It's fine. Miss Chavez made a typo. Mm. Yeah. But it went by quick, right? Because the poems are short. Yeah, the sad ending was kind of long. Okay, let me know when you guys are there, and then I'll read them to you. Thank you. I think we're still waiting on maybe one or two people. Just waiting on it to load for one or two people. All right, once I see everyone's pulled up on their main tab on their GoGuardian that I'm looking at, because I can see your screens, remember, then I'll start. That depends. Who is asking if I can see theirs? Us. Austin Bono, I cannot see yours, but I think that's because you're not on a Chromebook, right? Okay. But as long as I know that it's pulled up, that's fine. Yeah. Hunter, are you getting yours pulled up, hon? Oh, there he is. Awesome. And then Bradley, are you getting pulled up? Hmm. Well, he was there earlier, and then he went back out. Hmm. All right. Is everyone okay if I start reading the questions? Yes. Mhm. Okay. So, question number 1 says on April 26th, Jack describes his brain as feeling like a squashed pea. What type of figurative language did Jack use to compare his brain to a squashed pea? The second question says on page 67, Jack compares the computer to what? When he's talking about the spell checker, what's he comparing the computer to? Using the above question, what type of figurative language was Jack using? On May 14th, Jack finally writes about what happened to his dog, Skye. Make an inference on why you think Jack finally worked up the courage to write this poem. So, why do you think he felt comfortable writing about Skye? Why is Jack worried about putting his poem on the board on May 15th? So, May 15th is right after he wrote his poem about Skye, and Miss Stretchberry asked him if he wanted it put on the board, and he was a little bit worried. Why was he worried? Okay, let me read May 15th to you then. Oh, the 21st? Okay, let me go to the 21st then. Okay, so for the next question, it says reread Jack's entry for May 21st. Describe the mental picture you paint in your mind as you read. So May 21st says, wow, 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 wow. That was the best, best, best news ever. I can't believe it. Mr. Walter Dean Myers is really, really, really coming to our school. He was coming to our city anyway to see his old buddy. And he would be honored to visit our clean school and meet the mostly nice kids who like his poems. We sure are lucky that his old buddy lives in our town. Wow. Okay. On May 21st, Jack has learned that Walter Dean Myers is coming to his school. How did Jack receive this news? Look back at your book for help. So how did Jack feel when he found out that Walter Dean Myers was coming to the school? And then the next one says, give 2 reasons why Jack can't sleep on May 29th. And I'll reread May 29th in case you don't have your book. So it says, I can't wait. I can't sleep. Are you sure you hid my poem that was inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers? I don't want to do anything to upset him. And the last question says, Jack is enchanted with how Mr. Walter Dean Myers' voice sounds when he reads aloud. How can you become better at reading out loud? Oh, I like that answer, Katie. All right, and then when you're done, you can hit submit. Hi. All right. So it looks like most of us are wrapping up. We're going to be moving into writing another poem. And our focus is going to be writing a shape poem using descriptive words. And these words should make you be able to see an image in your mind. And our objectives are I can compose a poem using descriptive words. This is an example of a shape poem, also known as a concrete poem. And this is the poem from the back of the book that Miss Stretchberry used in her class. So you can see the apple, the shape of the apple is actually made up of words like apple, yum, juicy, lots of descriptive words that usually would be used to describe the apple. So we're going to brainstorm some descriptive words for your noun when we create our own and use those words to create your shape poem. For example, Mrs. Mutzbauer's volleyball poem, she brainstormed some words like round, ball, spike, white, pass, etc. So that's what hers looks like. So she physically drew a volleyball with marker and pen, and then she wrote her words around it and in the shape. You can also use this poem generator, and it's gonna look like this. Let's see if it'll let me go back through the steps. Okay. So when you get to the shape generator, there's going to be an option that says choose a shape, and you can pick whatever shape you want. So aardvark, cat, cheerleader, dog, donkey, elephant, flamingo, ghost, guitar, leaf, lion, llama, martial artist, pegasus. So a pegasus, if you don't know, is a winged horse that can fly, and usually it has a unicorn horn, but not always. A pumpkin, a runner, Santa, Trump, or yoga. So any of those shapes you can pick. And then it's going to have you go through and you're going to describe the shape that you picked. So if you picked pumpkin, you're going to write a noun that probably says pumpkin because that's what you're describing. Then you're going to use a color to describe it. Tell me how big, small, large it is. And you'll just go through and you'll keep describing it with all these sections. Then you'll go down to the bottom of the screen when you've finished and you'll hit the button that says write me a poem. And then it will show you the shape. So because I chose pumpkin, this is what my pumpkin would look like. And it says align with 2 letters. So that's telling me that this very top line of plus signs on my image, that's what that word is going to be. So when you fill these out, you're thinking, what words do I want at the top of my poem in the stem? And what words do I want at the bottom and middle of my poem, like towards the face and towards the bottom of the pumpkin? So as you see the lines start increasing, 13 letters, 15 letters, my pumpkin's getting bigger. I'm moving towards the middle of my pumpkin, so I might want some different words in the middle. And then it starts to shrink back down to smaller lettered lines, like 9 letters and 13 letters. So at the bottom of my pumpkin, what would I want it to say? And then when you finish picking all of the lines, and it says, write me a poem again, you will hit write me a poem, and it'll generate or create your shape poem. So then you're going to hover your mouse over the little white square, and you'll right click, you'll hit copy image, and you will copy and paste it into a Google Doc, just like this one, once it pulls up. So I copy and pasted it. And then that way you'll be able to attach the document to the assignment in your Google Classroom. But if you don't want to use the generator, that is fine. Like we said, you can use a pencil and paper, pen and paper, and create a shape just like Miss Mutzbauer did with her volleyball poem. Hi, Cole. Thanks for joining us. Well, let me mute myself. I think it's so annoying sometimes. Okay. Can I run to the bathroom, please? Oh, no, but I don't want to share it. Go back. I just want to present. All right, and then I'll be right back. So if you have any questions, you can ask Miss Mutzbauer. or if you type them in the chat, Miss Lockman will probably be able to answer too.
Okay, Katie, let me check out your screen. Okay, can you hear me okay? Let me look at your screen. Did you try Control V?
Oh, hit
No, hit
install.
install. She just can't. She got it. Okay, Katie, it looks like you got it. Good job. Yeah. Can you hear me? Go to Google Classroom.
Any problems so far? Okay.
There you go. So go back to where you were. Yeah, there you go. Go to second 6 hours. Click on classwork at the very top. Wait for it to load, and then I'll show you which one you need. It's going to be under the in-person learning, week of 16, 11, 16, 11, 20. Scroll down if you want in-person. Scroll back up. Scroll up. There you go. Okay, the second one, it says, yep, open, nope. Yeah, shape cone, there you go. And click on where it says concrete cone generator. There you go, I think. Okay, so you see where it says in the middle, choose a shape. Hit that little arrow where it says aardvark, and a whole bunch of different shapes will pop up, and you can choose one. There you go. Choose whatever one you want to write your shape cone on. Okay, now scroll down, and now you're going to fill in these boxes. So now a noun, for example, it says cat or dog. You chose flamingo. You might want to just put flamingo there again. And go through and fill in all the boxes to describe it. So a color, size, adjectives, or things that it does. Okay, there you go. You're on the right spot now. Good job.
Okay. So, I know we had some technical difficulties, but I think, yep. Is it? I swear I just unmuted myself. Nope, my mic is not working. Oh, okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, I can hear myself through the thing. All right. So, um, we had some oh my gosh, words are hard today. We had some technical difficulties, but I think you guys are working through them. Thank you guys for your class participation today. I really appreciated it when we were going through the Love That Dog book. Remember that when you work on these poems at home, that we're focusing on our descriptive words. We want to be able to see the picture in our head when we're reading it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can let me know real quick and I'll try to answer it if it hasn't already been addressed. If not, you can go ahead and pause what you're doing and continue it after your next class because your next class does start in about 8 minutes. So I want to make sure you have enough time for a break before your next class starts. So with that being said, any major questions, comments, or concerns before we go? This lesson will be recorded and posted if you do need to look back at it. All right. If not, that's fine. You are free to go. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.